Hey guys, hello and a very warm welcome back to my channel. So we are continuing with our bilateral relations series, and in this video we will be starting up with India-Afghanistan relations, and this is the free UPSC preparation with pre and mains and with maps. We are going to discuss everything pre and mains, and it is completely free, so you have to just you don't have to pay anything, and it is completely free for everyone, because those students who are not able to afford the coaching, they could of course look at this, and this is going to be very supportive for all of you, because we are covering in-depth syllabus of UPSC, and all of the things that is discussed here can be written in your UPSC exam, and you are bound to get good marks if you follow that scheme. So that is the thing. And also you have to just do one favor for me, to like and subscribe to this channel. I'm not, there is no fees for it. It is completely free. Just like and subscribe and share with your friends who need it. Okay, so this is the thing. So now today we will be starting up with our India Afghanistan relationships. Okay, so let us begin with the relationship of India and Afghanistan. Okay, so there has been in recent use Afghanistan a lot related to Taliban. We are going to discuss it all. So right now let us look at some basic facts about Afghanistan. Okay, so Afghanistan is surrounded by South Asia, okay, West Asia, South Asia, West Asia, and Central Asia, and Central Asia. Okay, to show you, I have a map here. You can see this is Afghanistan. This is your Afghanistan. Okay, capital is Kabul. Afghanistan is surrounded here. You can see this is India, Pakistan, China. So south of Asia, south. Okay, then this is Central Asia. This Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan. These are all Central Asia. Okay, and here you can see all of this area which comes under West. Okay, so Afghanistan is surrounded by Central, South, and West Asia, and it is a completely landlocked region. There are like no particular around sea or anything around it. Okay, it is a completely landlocked region, and being the central of all these Asian parts, it is a very important place strategically. Okay, and we will talk about it for India as well. It is a very important strategic place. So I hope that your place of Afghanistan is clear to all of you. Okay, so it is surrounded by South Asia, West Asia, and Central Asia. Okay, then a very important feature about I have written wrong spelling. They are fiercely independent. FIERC. They are fiercely independent. Okay, they are fiercely independent. That's why they don't like anybody's domination over Afghanistan and over on them. Basically, there are many of the communities that live in Afghanistan, and with each other also they don't like domination of one community over other community. They are fiercely independent. They have this mentality of fierce independence in them. Okay, so in 1980s, Britain started creating their own boundary starting from the south of Durand line. Okay, I will show it to you through a map. So this is a map. Here this brown colored line which I am highlighting also. This particular brown colored line which is dividing Afghanistan into two, this is known as Durand line. Okay, Durand Durand line. Okay, so this is a line. It is not a natural barrier, but it is a range of mountain. Okay, it is like a mountain range, and it is not a natural barrier, so people couldn't actually know. Okay, whenever they are, you know, all of the like communities live, same communities live in both the parts, both the sides of this line. Okay, so they are going to have people to people contact, so they don't know whether when they have crossed this line, because this is like not a natural. If there would have been big mountains, okay, then it would have been a natural barrier and people would have known that this is the line. Okay, this is the boundary. Okay, but they didn't. It was not a mountains were there, but it was easy to pass by, and people actually didn't know that when they have crossed the boundary or not. Okay, so this was the boundary that has been created by Britishers. Okay, okay, and especially this Pashtun area, as you guys can see. So all of this orange colored or brown colored area was the people, Pashtun people, who lived in Afghanistan. So you can see that both the sides Pashtun people are there. Okay, so there is a people to people contact, and people didn't knew that when they have crossed the line or not. Okay, so that was a thing. So that was not a kind of a natural barrier. Okay, so after, so Britishers was there. Okay, then after that, you know, kingdoms came in Afghanistan after Britishers. Okay, kingdoms came, and kingdoms were loosely knit. Okay, there was no proper kind of boundary or a rigid, you know, boundary between like people to move around, and people have very much independence because they don't like to be ruled upon. As I already told you, they're fiercely independent. So there was a loosely knit boundary, and they are loosely knit, not boundary, but they are loosely knit from with each other, and there was much independence that has been given to them. Okay, okay. Then these kingdoms went till 1978, and till 1978 these kingdoms were there, and then kingdom rule ended. Okay, and then USSR, as we have already studied in our starting lectures, USSR, they formed their communist government in Afghanistan. Okay, and in 1979 communist troops communist troops were sent to Afghanistan. Okay, and US and USSR were under the Cold War, and US wanted to stop this influence of USSR in Afghanistan. Okay, US didn't want that, so hence US supported rebels for their own gain. US supported rebels of Afghanistan. And why they are so interested in Afghanistan, that is a question. So US always believed in domino effect. Okay, domino, you have heard about dominoes, not the pizza one. Domino, a game which we play, where if one block falls, so it falls upon another block, and this continues and all the blocks fall down. Okay, if there is a pressure applied from force applied from one part. So this is the domino effect. So they believed in domino effect, and according to them, if like USSR is capturing Afghanistan, so they could have their, you know, due to domino effect, the other surrounding countries could also, you know, be under USSR. So they didn't want that. So for that, what US did is that they supported rebels. They started supporting rebels. Okay, and the rebels were called, which were supported by US, were called Mujahideens. You have listened to that name also, I think, many times. Mujahideen. Mujahideens are the rebels that are supported by US. Okay, in order to combat USSR and defeat USSR. Okay, Mujahideens are known as defenders of Islam. Okay, and US along with Pakistan, they both collaborated and supported Mujahideens. Okay, and this caused a massive civil war between the communist government and Mujahideens. There was a civil war that happened. Okay, then after like in around 1985, when Soviet Union's leader was Mikhail Gorbachev. Mikhail Gorbachev. Okay, so when Mikhail Gorbachev came to power, he, agreed for negotiations, and after his power, Soviet Union dissolved and it constituted 15 new countries. Okay, so Soviet Union collapsed. So USSR collapsed. Okay, collapsed in around 1991. So they collapsed. Okay. Also, then there was a conference that happened with US plus before the collapse, when it was about to collapse, US, USSR, and Pakistan under Mikhail Gorbachev. Sorry, just a minute. Yeah, and Pakistan. There is a conference that happened which is known as Rome Conference. Rome Conference that happened. Okay, and where under this conference USSR agreed to withdraw from Afghanistan in 1990. In 1990, USSR agreed to withdraw from Afghanistan. Okay. So communist government from from Afghanistan was left behind, and then Najibullah, US looked for a scholar, a very well educated scholar who graduated from India only, and his name was Najibullah. He wanted to have a doctorate also in India, but India refused. Okay, and Najibullah was a PhD, and he completed his PhD afterwards, and he was made by US as president of Afghanistan. He became the president, okay, of Afghanistan. Then in 1992, Najibullah's government fell. It fell, okay, due to no support, and instead there was no support for Najibullah that much, and Mujahideens, which were the rebels, they captured power. Okay, so in from 1978 to 1992, there was a period that is known as the period of ideological war between Najibullah and Mujahideens. It is known as ideological war. Ideological war means that they have a very different ideology, and there was a war between the ideologies. Ideological war. Okay, so this is the thing. And during this time, Pakistan and US had very good relations. Okay, they were collaborating on many more terms. Okay, in especially in the matters related to Afghanistan, because for Pakistan, Afghanistan is like the strategic rear base. Write this down: strategic rear base. for Pakistan. Okay, if you guys can see in this map, so it is like very close to Afghanistan, is very close to Pakistan, so it is strategically very important. Afghanistan is strategically very important for Pakistan. Okay, so US and Pakistan formed alliance, and Pakistan was the frontline alliance of US. Okay, so they had a very good amount of collaborations that they were taking place. Okay, then in 1991, of course, Cold War, Union Soviet Union collapsed and Cold War ended, and in 1992 it was a new phase of ethnic war in Afghanistan. Okay, there were many various communities that were at war with each other. Okay, for being a leader. Both US and Pakistan were also frustrated within these ethnic wars that were happening. Okay, and you know, their concept of independence, community don't want to be one community, don't want to be dominated by another community, so mujahideens were opposed, and there were many of the in community ethnic wars that were going on in the Afghanistan, and both US and Pakistan became frustrated with these wars that were happening. So okay, so in 1996, a very important point, in 1996, because of this frustration of Pakistan and US and Pakistan together created an organization. Pakistan, basically with the support of US, created an organization which is known as Taliban. So Taliban is a creation of Pakistan in support of US, and it was initially made to tackle with mujahideens, basically, especially you know, again it was made against mujahideens. And the Taliban, you could hear in news right now, they are very violent kind of extremist radical people. Okay, so Taliban was made by Pakistan in support to US, that's why Pakistan supports Taliban. Okay, so it was made against mujahideens. Okay, or the Taliban, the most people in Taliban was from Pashtun community, Pashtuns. Okay, so their children were basically intoxicated. Their children, Pashtuni children, were intoxicated with radical ideologies and narrow interpretation of religion. Okay, and because of them, they create fanatics. Talibanis. Okay, in 1994, BU Burhanuddin Rabbani. Burhanuddin Rabbani was the president. Okay, then Gulbuddin HEK Hekmatyar was PM of Afghanistan. Okay, he was a Pashtun. President was a Tajik. Then there is a General Dostam, Dostum, Dostum. Okay, and he was the defense minister, and he was a Uzbek from Uzbekistan. And then we have Ahmad Shah Masood, Masood. Ahmad Shah Masood. He was the interior minister, interior or home minister, interior minister. Okay, so he was interior minister. So these were the four posts in 1994. And Ahmad Shah Masood was also a Tajik, Tajik, Tajik. Okay, Tajikistan. So then there was like lots and lots of in wars that were going on. So then there were okay, first of all let me tell you certain communities. We have Pashtun as 39%. Then we have Tajik community, which is around 25%. Okay, then we have Hazana, Haza, Hazana. Okay, so there were Hazanas as around 19%. Then there were Uzbeks who were 6%. Okay, so these were the communities of Afghanistan, and there was an in-war that goes between all of them, because all of them want independence on their own, and nobody wants to be dominated by any other community. Okay, so but right now Mujahideens were a common threat for all of them. Okay, and Taliban also, because Taliban were very extremist in their, and instead of just focusing on countering Mujahideens, they were also attacking all of the communities that were there. Okay, they were uh, apart from their purpose, they are just using their hard powers on these communities also. So all of these four communities together formed an organization against Mujahideen and Taliban, both of them. Okay, so they formed an organization. Okay, in around October 1996, in October 1996, Taliban captured power in Afghanistan. Taliban captured power. Okay, in Afghanistan, it captured Kabul. So okay, also the architect of Taliban, okay, who created Taliban, who was the person who trained those intoxicated Talibanis, was Maulana, Maulana Faz, Fazlur, Fazlur Rahman. Maulana Fazlur Rahman, okay, and he was the one who indoctrinated Talibanis, and Talibanis rule was considered to be one of the darkest age of Afghan history. Then when Osama bin Laden, he came to Afghanistan. Okay, he is from Al Qaeda, and he came to Afghanistan. Talibanis gave him asylum. Okay, and in return, Osama bin Laden was a rich person. Okay, he was a businessman. He used to be a businessman, then he converted, he joined Al Qaeda, and he became one of the most wanted leaders of Al Qaeda. Then when he came to Afghanistan, he took asylum in Afghanistan. Taliban also gave asylum to them because they were in power. They gave asylum to them. And in return, Osama bin Laden, being a rich person, he provided money to them. Okay. Then in September 2001, when World Trade Organization was attacked in US, okay, US pinpointed where Osama bin Laden was living because it was an attack from their side only. So they pinpointed that Osama bin Laden was living in Afghanistan, and then US attacked him. Okay. Then US, after like 1st December 2001 onwards, US plus NATO forces, NATO, US plus NATO forces, both of them entered Afghanistan. Okay. They formed the government that was earlier, which I talked about, the 4 people. Okay, under US they formed a government, and at this time Hamid Karzai became the president. He was a Pashtun. From 2002 to 2004, he continued as a president. Okay. US had a aim to enter into Afghanistan and get rid of all the Al-Qaedas, and especially they wanted Osama bin Laden. Okay. So I just pointed out to you that US plus NATO forces came, and they came into Afghanistan. So the government at that time, you know what was happening when Taliban captured power in around 1996. At that point of time, Rabbani, the president, at that time, along with Dostum, General Dostum, and Masood, they all withdraw to Panjshir Valley. Okay, they all withdrew to Panjshir Valley, and it is a city, and it was a city called as Mazar A Sharif. Into the city of Mazar-e Sharif they withdrew. Okay, and this place was well guarded by to prevent the attack from Talibanis there. This place was well guarded by Northern Alliance. Northern Alliance is the name of all the people who gathered together to form an organization. All the communities, they were guarded by Northern Alliance. They were also supported by India. They were supported by India, Iraq, okay, Russia, okay. So all of these countries also supported that area, and also the US and NATO forces that came, they also first of all went to this place only because this place was the most safest to start from, and this started to also US also started to occupy this and protect this, so it became US occupied as well. Okay, so the government was residing here, and they were working from there only under the protection of all of these people. On around 2001 September, Ahmad Shah Masood was killed by a suicide bomber. Okay, and in his place, then loyals Abdullah, his name was Abdullah अब्दुल्ला अब्दुल्ला, ठीक है, एंड कानूनी कानूनी एंड मोहम्मद Fahim. All of these three were his loyals, and they took over uh, his positions, and US occupation also start here. Okay, so this was the point where US and NATO forces were sent. Okay. So they were basically, US is supporting their government there. So there is an opposition government that was there, and that opposition party's leader was Ahmad Ahmad Ahmad, and he was in opposition. Also in 2009, Ahmad won the election. Okay, Ahmad won the election, but after negotiations with US, he took again the opposition seat, and the main was won by all the earlier governments. Okay, and in that, from that earlier government, Ghani was the main one, and he won. Okay, and Ghani was made as the president. Then same thing happened in 2019 also. Again Ahmad got into opposition. So you can say, their constitution there in 2004, there was a democratic constitution that was created in Afghanistan. Okay, but of course, when you can see all of the ways in which the elections were happening, okay, under the influence of US, so you cannot say that democracy is being followed there at all. Okay, so they have a very, very fragile kind of democracy in Afghanistan. Now, till now, Ghani is the president till now, and Ahmad has been, after negotiation, he has been given a position of chief executive, chief exclusive, or I have to just see, but he has been given the position of CEO. Okay. Now let us talk about a very, very important issue in the current point of time, that is resurgence of Taliban. Right now also there you can see a resurgence of Taliban that is taking place. Resurgence of Taliban. Let us talk about this issue as well. Okay, after the attack which was done by US, these all of these Talibanis, they escaped into Pakistan. Okay, they escaped into Pakistan, and Pakistan didn't handed over Talibanis to US, which US was demanding. Okay, so for why? Because for Pakistan, Talibanis are like the strategic reserve for achieving their foreign policy goals. Okay, of defeating India, controlling the Central Asia, of course, because Afghanistan is like a gateway to Central Asia. So in order to control that gateway, Afghanistan, if Pakistan is controlling Afghanistan, so it would prevent India from having good relations with Afghanistan, and in turn towards the Central Asia. So Pakistan wanted to have a control over that place. And Pakistan played a double game. Okay, they said that they are against terror. Pakistan said that they are against terror. At the same time, they are giving asylum to Talibanis. So you can say a double phased nature of Pakistan. Okay. Also, another reason for resurgence of Taliban is that the US supported NATO forces. They are also, they are a kind of a trigger happy forces. Okay, if you are going to trigger them, so they are going to be very violent. Okay, so they have also been violent in the past time. So this could also be said to be, could be one of the reasons that Taliban could resurge. Okay, also people started to sympathize for Taliban, and US, after US's occupation, the ordinary people there are getting isolated or alienated. Okay, and also these NATO forces, they don't respect their religion and their culture. Okay, it is not, their culture and religion are kind of not much respected by NATO. Also, the source of income for Afghanistanis are basically by growing poppy, the drug. Okay, poppy cultivation, um, opium, opium poppy. Okay, so these were the plants that were grown in Afghanistan, and US don't want them to grow this, but this is the only source of income that they have. Okay, so that's why the indigenous people are opposing US in a manner. Okay, this further alienated the people. So during the time of Talibanis, this drug business, this drug mafia and all, okay, this was going on, in a free manner. But when the Karzai government came, and that too under the influence of US, this started to change, and there was a change of loyalty of Ghani and all towards US, and and the warlords who were the drug lords, basically they also switched sides. Then they were talking about Talibanis and all. So all of these issues are causing a resurgence of Taliban, and Taliban also, this I'm talking about like the middle era. Okay, and if you say currently what is the situation, so currently around 70% has been occupied by Taliban. 70% of Afghanistan. Okay, also there is a distinction between Talibanis, a Taliban, and there is another Taliban that is known as Pakistani Taliban. This has been in news recently also. So what is the difference between Taliban and Pakistani Taliban? So the difference is that this Taliban is originally from the Afghanistan Taliban that we talked about. Okay, that US and Pakistan together formed. And this Pakistan Taliban is when these Talibanis, they withdrew to Pakistan, and there then after some time they started to raise their voice against Pakistan where they are living. So those Talibanis who are raising voice against Pakistan and they're living in Pakistan are known as Pakistani Taliban. Okay. Okay. So now I would like to give you some of my personal comments here. That first of all, there should not be any kind of space for terrorism or religion fundamentalism. Okay, in a nation. It's like if you are following fundamentalism and communalism, then what would happen is that it is like a riding of a tiger, that one day it is going to harm you. You don't know how to ride it, you wouldn't be able to get off it, and it is going to harm you only. So that's a thing, okay, that needs to be taken care. Also for Pakistan, Afghanistan is like the backyard for rearing, and it is their sphere of influence. It is kind of a geostrategic region for Pakistan. Okay, and if India is going to have good relation with Afghanistan, then Pakistan couldn't be able to accept that. Okay, so Pakistan wanted to have a full influence in Afghanistan. They wanted to be, the basic influence in their decision making. Okay, so Pakistan wants Afghanistan to be on their side. So that was a thing. Now I would like to talk about India's interest. India's interest in this. In India's interest in Afghanistan. Okay. So first of all, if there is a friendly Afghanistan government, then it would be a defeat for Pakistan. If a friendly Afghanistan government, a friendly relation with India, then there would be a defeat for Pakistan in that case. Okay, Afghanistan, of course, is their backyard and circle of influence. So if we have our presence there, so it would make a big difference. Okay, and also in like 19 from 1978 to 1992 we were very close to Afghanistan. Also we had a good relation, and under Masood and all, we had a good relation with Afghanistan. Masood, Rabbani, when they came, then also we had a good relation. In 1996, this is 9, okay, 1996 to 2001, Pakistan had an upper hand in Afghanistan. Then from 2001 to 2021 till now, India is closer to Afghanistan. Okay, and we have also signed many of the strategic partnerships with Afghanistan. Okay, also if there would be a friendly Afghan government, so it would help us prevent terrorism. Okay, and also it is a gateway to Central Asia, which is why it is very important. Gateway to Central Asia. Okay, and there is another project that we were looking forward to, which didn't happen because of Pakistani's interference, and that is known as TAPI project, where we had like all of these. There is this pipeline. Okay, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Thailand. This is a pipeline project, but Pakistan didn't agree to on this agreement, on this project, and hence this project has not been uh, started. India has invested more than $3 billion, okay, in the last 20 years in Afghanistan. In the last 20 years, okay, and we are interested in more of the infrastructure, capacity building, and economic development. Okay, so we are interested in investing in Afghanistan. Also, the parliament in Afghanistan has been created by India. It is a creation of India only. So we wanted, they are in the fragile phase of their democracy, so we wanted them to uplift, because we are ourselves a democratic country, and Afghanistan is very important for us. Okay, and now let me talk about certain present day situations. What are the present day situations in Afghanistan? Okay, so in 2020 recently, there was a round of talks known as Doha, DOHA. Doha round of talks, round of talks. Doha round of talks between Afghanistan and US that happened. Okay, to end the violence and ceasefire. Okay, the fundamental aims was, first of all, to end violence and ceasefire, and a ceasefire should be there. Secondly, there should be intra Afghan dialogue. Intra Afghan dialogue. Okay, also there should be a Taliban cutoff. Taliban cut off, okay? The relation, Taliban should cut off the relation with Al Qaeda and um, other all of the other terrorists. So these were the three basic objectives of these talks. But recently, after Joe Biden's government came into power in US, they kept a deadline of 31st August, and they would withdraw the US troops from Afghanistan. So they are not now interested. Now it has been a long story since they were looking for Osama bin Laden, but now it has been a long time. Things have been forgotten, and they were not now interested in keeping their force there, because that is also a big economic baggage on them. Okay, they have to spend a lots and lots of money on this NATO forces there. So Joe Biden has said that by 31st of August we are going to withdraw, or by second week of September in 2021 itself they are going to withdraw all of the US troops from Afghanistan. So you can say that this step could lead to more rapid resurgence of Taliban again into Afghanistan. Okay. Also, Taliban has gained a kind of a strategic momentum because of this. Already, Taliban is making the gains in north and east of Afghanistan. Okay, not east, sorry, north and west of Afghanistan. Also, they have captured some border part of Iran. Okay, they have captured some border parts of Iran, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and all. Okay, and you can see that they're starting, but still it is not going to be a cakewalk for Taliban to capture Kabul. Why? Because Kabul has a support from rest of the world, as I already told you. Okay, they have a support, although US is withdrawing their army, but still they are it's not like complete dislodging of support. They are going to give support still to Kabul, and all the other countries like India, Russia, we all support Kabul. Okay, Iraq, sorry. Okay, also they have their internal forces that is known as ANA, Afghan National Army, and they are if they manage to control and defend the main highways and cities, then they would be able to fight back Taliban easily. Okay, it would be easy for them to fight. Also, as I told you that Russia is also supporting ANA. So what is the Russia's interest in Afghanistan? So let me just give you a quick brief about Russia's interest. Okay, what is the interest? First of all, they don't like US presence in there. Okay, also Taliban, they are worried about Taliban, and in turn Central Asia. Of course, everyone wanted to have good relation with Central Asia. Okay, they wanted to deal with Taliban, so that once Taliban is gone, US is going to be out of game. And also Talibanis are supporting certain separatist movement in around Russia, so that's why also they don't like Talibanis. Okay, so what does India want right now to happen in Afghanistan is, first of all, that Ghani should be in, we have good relations because of Ghani, so Ghani should be in power for some more time. Okay, also in longer time, UN peacemaking force peacemaking force US peacemaking force can be pushed by India. Okay, so in conclusion, in the final conclusion of India Afghanistan relationship, I wanted to just say that first of all, US withdrawing its support is like a lost game. Okay, uh, you know the image of US has been somewhere diminished after this step. Okay, they don't want to, support a nation which is fighting, a nation that is, having suffering a lot. They are not supporting them. Instead, they, withdraw their troops. So it has reduced or diminished somewhere the image of US that has been there. US as a superpower. So that image is somewhere diminished. Also, Pakistan is on advantage. And third thing I wanted to tell is that, yeah, Ghani government is not easy to defeat. Okay, and we will see that how it goes, how Taliban and, you know how the, because Taliban is researching again, so we'll just see that how it goes, and whatever happens we are going to make a video accordingly. So this is it about India-Afghan relation, and we have talked about all of whatever the relations of India and Afghanistan is needed for your UPSC. So that's it for today, and I would, next video that I'm going to make is going to be the relation between India and Pakistan. So we will see to it how it goes. So thank you so much guys, and have a very nice day, and please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, please. It gives us motivation. So thank you so much guys, stay tuned for the next video. Till then, bye bye and take care.